Go.
Okay. Okay. So,
Okay.
today on stupid ass FYC bits, I want to talk about Asterix and Obelix, God Save Britannia.
But Justin, what's Asterix and Obelix? For
Well,
those
I'm
people who
glad
don't know,
you-
which is probably no one here.
I'm glad you asked. So, America has this amazing thing where something that's really popular in like a multitude of other countries is like completely unknown here. So, Asterix and Obelix is a French comic book created by two guys whose names I can't pronounce because I can't speak French. Okay, Bonjour, Burrito, and Escargoon from the Kirby Right Back at You cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was them. Anyway, it's about a little guy named Asterix and a big dude named Obelix. And they drink a magic potion, they beat up people, it's you know, the usual stuff, you know what I mean. So they're Gauls, they exist in 50 BC, and they beat up Romans who are always trying to invade their little village.
But why? Why don't they just give up?
Well, I don't know. That's how history played out, and that's kind of a thing with Asterix Obelix. They make fun of a lot of history, a lot of cultural references, and stuff like that.
And it's 100% accurate.
Yes, so much so that God Save Britannia should just be taught in schools as an official documentary on English history on how they got tea. Whoa! So basically, the movie follows Asterix and Obelix, who, they're, the little guy, fat dude, dynamic. Basically, Asterix and Obelix are accused by a little guy who is, like, you guys shouldn't be, like, hanging around. You talk about being manly men, but you're two dudes that live in a house with a little dog together. And
what's the dog's name?
The dog's name is Dogmatix.
Oh.
Or at least it is in English. In France, he's called Idefix.
Did you already mention the show's from France?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't know
I said
if
it was
you
a
did.
French comic book.
Didn't know. I can remember.
Come on, man. So, basically, something you gotta know about Asterix and Obelix is that all the names, or at least the majority of them, are either a play on words or they're puns of some
like
sort.
Biggest Dickus.
This whole thing is like one joke away from basically recreating that joke. But yes,
Really?
yes. So this movie stars Edouard Baird as Asterix, and honestly, he doesn't do that bad of a job. But this is the only movie out of the 5 live-action films that he plays Asterix. And you know what? He does okay. The only recurring actor is Gerard Depardieu.
I hear he's a great man.
If you want nightmare fuel and want to know how horrible a human being can become, just look up the history and life of Gerard Depardieu. And how he got involved in a series of children's films, I will have no idea. But basically, the movie's pretty simple in terms of plot. Basically, Asterix and Obelix are taking care of a little man named Guderix who makes fun of them for being two guys that live together in a house with a dog. Because, he's a dick for some reason. When suddenly the Romans decide they don't want to invade Asterix's village anymore. They want to go to good old jolly old England it is. So,
as you do.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would ever want to go to England.
So they go to England where they end up meeting a British dude named Anticlimax. He meets the Romans and realizes that, they're not here to... help them out. They're here to conquer. It's the traditional Roman thing. You know what I'm saying? So Anticlimax decides that he needs help from Asterix and Obelix, who apparently are good friends of his. So he travels all the way to Gaul, which is the area of France that Asterix and Obelix are from, He's like, yo, I hear you guys got a big fucking magic potion that gives you all super strength. Can you bring that back to England? So they're like, yeah, we'll bring it back to England. So they go to England to help Anticlimax. But here's the problem: they lose the magic potion. Oh my god!
How do they lose it?
They lose it because the Romans steal it from them.
How did they steal it from them?
Well, they try to hide it in a barrel. And the barrel they put on a cart full of wine barrels. And the Romans confiscate all the wine, not knowing that they've taken the magic potion with them.
Ooh.
Indeed. So this is obviously a problem. Now, luckily, you know, the Romans run out of the magic potion because it gets destroyed at some point in the movie. It's really not that plot important, and that's where I lead to one of the biggest problems that this movie faces, and that's pacing. If it sounds like I'm really disjointed explaining this movie, that's kind of how the movie is. It's just a series of jokes and not a whole lot to really move the plot along. Like, it's a bunch of jokes about England, English culture, and just sometimes goofy, wacky stuff that happens. Like, for example, the Romans attack England every day at 5 p.m. because all the British people stop to drink hot water at that time. So, and we'll get back to the hot water. That's actually very important, Mr. FYC host man.
Shut up.
Ooh. So, basically, Asterix and Obelix, they go through a bunch of stuff, usually making fun of British culture, like bad food and everyone driving on the opposite side of the road, and, you know, making fun of how they do things in general. And that's like 90% of this whole movie. It's just making fun of the British and the things they do. And eventually the movie ends with the climax of Asterix and Obelix getting to Anticlimax's village, to where they're like, we don't have the potion, what do we do? Well, I have an idea. So Asterix gets out some dried out tea leaves that he got from a trader that came from the east, and he puts it in a pot of boiling water, and it turns into tea, and it's discovered that this is how the British got tea. So now, instead of drinking hot water at 5 p.m. every day, they decide to drink tea. The tea...
It's really dumb.
And so the tea gives the British the courage to fight off the Romans once and for all. Now, there is like a series of subplots in the movie, most of which don't go anywhere. For example, Guderix is kidnapped by some Vikings because Guderix is a coward.
Where are Vikings here?
Well, the Vikings are hired by the Romans to try and, you know, stop like Asterix and Obelix, but they kidnap Guderix instead because the Vikings
are dumb.
Well, yes, but they want to be afraid because apparently the chief of the Vikings heard the phrase that fear gives flight to cowards, but he took it too literally and he wants to fly. So they kidnap Guderix, hoping that he can teach them to be afraid of things. But unfortunately, the Vikings are so tough and rough and angry that nothing scares them anyway, so it's a futile attempt. And that doesn't really go anywhere. It's not that great of a subplot. There's also the subplot of Asterix and Obelix questioning their friendship, and maybe they should go their separate ways, which, of course, ends with the usual let's get back together and be friends again kind of deal.
Yeah, like the best Dairy Movie Kid movie.
They're pretty much. The production value of this movie is really cheap, but only when it comes to certain things. Like when it comes to set design, top notch. I'm talking good shit. But when it comes to costumes, it kind of seems like, you know, a Halloween costume. Like if you wanted to dress it. Yeah, it's like, oh, I went to Party City. Oh, look, an Asterix costume on sale for $2. And that's pretty much it. But when it comes to how they make the English villages and, you know, the Roman, you know, outposts and everything, top notch. Good shit. Good shit all around. Unfortunately, this is not the best Asterix and Obelix movie, but if you live in the United States, it's pretty much the only one other than Asterix at the Olympic Games that you can get on Blu-ray.
Huh.
So,
in like Region 1 Blu-ray?
Region A Blu-ray, yeah. But there is no English dub. I want to make that perfectly clear. There is no English dub for it. You can get it English subtitled, and honestly, that's probably for the best because a lot of the jokes get lost in translation anyway, so you might as well just listen to it in its native tongue.
Huh.
Overall, I'm going to have to give Asterix and Obelix, God Save Britannia, a solid 2 fishes out of 1 boiling pot of hot water.
End review.
Yeah.
And Justin was never seen again.
I hope that becomes like a nightmare for you to edit.
Oh boy.
I really do.